Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Elizabeth Eleanor, and this is Wednesday Wisdom, and we're here with the beautiful Kat. Kat is a photographer and an amazing woman. I actually have spent some physical time with Kat at a retreat, and that's where we met up in, where were we? We're in Queensland somewhere.
In Udlo. Was it Udlo?
Udlo, yeah, that's right. Udlo, yeah.
Yeah.
So good morning, Kat.
Good morning, Elizabeth. It's been great to converse and finally work out a time to connect with you again. So yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so today we're going to be talking about the power of listening and the customer journey, because as a photographer, most people think it's all about just, taking the photos, right? But you were just sharing with me is definitely a lot more than that. So can you just share a little bit about what you do, how you got there, like what drove you to being passionate about taking photos?
Okay. A very, very quick timeline, because I'm older than I apparently look. So anyway, I studied as a graphic designer, and photography was my minor when I was doing uni. And then over the years, things happened. Many, many different roles that I played in building up my customer experience journey, which is probably the fundamental of all my business, right? So yes, my tool is my camera. It's the way that I showcase and tell your story, but it's all the ways that we build that story is much more important, because I can teach anyone really to take a photo. It's how do you communicate visually and get that across. So, I've done pharmacy, so that's very much about understanding customers' pains, like literally pain points, and how do you reassure. And then I've done, insurance as well, in terms of dealing with home claims in major floods and fires and things like that. So again, having to really build your empathetic tool, right? Your empathetic muscle, and be able to get that customer to the end goal, whatever it is, whether it's a new house, the right cream, or getting the best photo, right?
Yeah.
The result, the journey is still the most important part of that transaction. Right.
It's so true, isn't it? Just as you were talking, I remember when I got this laptop that I'm on at the moment, and we went to JB Hi-Fi, and it was a young guy, and I explained to him what I did. I'm on Zoom, I'm on Facebook, social media. I need a good quality, this, and he took me over to, and showed me all these laptops. And the one that I bought was the one that he recommended. But when I got home, my son said, "What are you doing with a gaming laptop?" Right? So he was a young guy, and he interpreted.
The most expensive one, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, how did that happen, right? And it's because he didn't actually listen through my ears. He listened through his ears instead,
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's, like, it doesn't happen now, but there was all this gaming stuff sort of coming up, and it was really challenging to start with, and that's a really good point, is that as someone that's in business, you've got to listen to what the customer is saying from their perspective, not necessarily from yours, and really get an idea, like reiterate with them so that you're coming from the right place, especially, when you just said the right cream, right? The right color. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it could be, any type of cream. It could be for your face, whatever. But what I want to ask you is, come back to you. How do you feel now about that whole transaction? How has it made you feel?
Well, it makes me want to go somewhere else to get, like, they've lost my business when it came to, because it felt heard, right? And so it frustrated me I've had it for a little while, right? So now I understand the computer, the laptop, but you know, that first little while I felt frustrated and annoyed that I wasn't heard, and then I had to, you know, go through my own learning to understand the computer, right?
I would actually feel a little bit jibbed and go, he just wanted to sell the most expensive laptop to me. He was not even considering what I actually needed. He just wanted to get his tick on his KPIs. Like, and so many times did I get in trouble. Well, not in trouble. Yeah, in trouble. In all my jobs, right? Because I would go against the grain. I wasn't breaking the rules. I was just hearing what my customer needed. And I worked the system to make sure that they got what they needed right there and then. Yeah. And sometimes it's the opposite, right? What you hear is one thing, but it's what they're not saying is another. Sometimes you've got to really be trying to understand what are they not saying and why are they not saying this and why are they saying that. So it's this constant play, and it's a muscle that you have to constantly train and practice with. It's asking questions with pure curiosity.
Yes.
No judgment. And it is so hard to not be, because we are naturally quite often judgmental, right? We go, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, if you say it like that, the poor customer goes, oh, on the defensive, and because I did this, I wanted this. But if you come from a place of pure curiosity and go, help me understand, or I'd love to know more about how you got to that decision, or why do you feel that you need X? And it invites people to then, because people love to talk, right? They really love to be heard. Sorry, don't love to talk. They like to be heard.
Yes.
If you ask someone, tell me more, and you lean in and they go, oh, okay.
She's listening.
Listening. My 5 minutes of fame. Let me, So
it's a natural human response, isn't it? To like it's connection. It's connection. And absolutely.
And valued. Like, I'm valuing what you are about to say. So therefore I'm going to invest in that time and that energy of telling you that something's important to me. It may not be important to the person really, but it's important to me, and you're willing to listen. So I think that is a huge, it's not a trick. It's a huge skill to master. And I often have to just sit here and go, don't say a word, Kat. Just because I've got all these questions, right? I've got all these questions going, but what about? And I have to know, just sit here and just go, okay. Right. Now go.
Yes. Hear the whole thing so that, that's right. And
sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, one of the things that, like, I'm hearing you say, and one of the things that I know works really well for me is because as humans, we are, as you said, we assess really quickly because it's a natural, it's part of our, brain function to judge and assess because we're constantly in mode of, what's in our environment. But to actually ask, tell me more, because what you're assessing could be very different, different interpretation to what the person's saying. So when you ask questions, instead of, making an assessment based on your own perception, you're getting more of the story and more of the picture from the actual person and what their understanding of it is. So it fills it out more. As you said, they feel heard, and they value you more because they're feeling heard, right? So that's part of the customer journey. Like, doesn't take much. It is a skill. Yeah.
The other thing that's a gold nugget, because I went up into change management and customer experience design in one of our leading fintechs in Australia, and we did a lot of customer interviewing, like research and stuff like that. And one of the hardest things I've ever had to do was my mentor would say to me, okay, so when the client is finished and you've asked that question, wait 12 seconds. Don't say a word. And I went, okay, right. Because that awkward silence, quite often the other person, my interviewee, goes, oh, I need to fill the space. I need to fill the space. And the insights often come out of that bit there.
Yeah.
Because they've had that space to actually go, I've said this. Now I've got this time to reflect on what I just said. And I want to add, and they go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that is where the nugget is, because quite often what I'm trying to find is the primal need of that customer. Whether it is, you know, like I have my clients in here and they sell hampers, right? Or we'll go to soaps because I'll make it real, but I won't say names. So that person, right, she came to me and said, I need to get professional photos. I said, okay. Why? Oh, because I want to get it up on the website and look good. Okay. Why? Oh, because at the moment I feel like I'm a hobby and no one's taking me seriously. That was the bit. I want to feel as though I am an authority in my space in making soap in my industry, right? It's not about looking good. It was about feeling as though she mattered, her product mattered.
Empowered.
So that is the pieces that sometimes you need to really dig down to, and then you can start to understand and you can build those relationships with your customers, because once you build those relationships, you know, the tried and true, like me, trust me, you know, all that sort of stuff. It isn't, people say it flippantly, but those that truly get it, they're the ones that have repeat customers back and forth, you know, constantly, and the word of mouth. Because
absolutely, yeah,
how you make people feel is the most amazing part of your whole process. Yeah, I can create thousands of photos for that person. So can anyone else. But how do I make them feel and understand that they are valued in their business, regardless if you make soap or you're saving a child? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting because I was just thinking about, you know, the way I've literally just come back from Pilates, and, you know, we walk in and we start, you know, and we're waiting until the last class is finished. And I'm generally the elder of the tribe, you know, and they're all on their phones, right? And it's really waiting, you know, like no one's communicating. And this generation, or this not even this generation, this time and space that we're in is so disconnected from each other that the communication skills have all just gone out the window. People don't even know how to or feel comfortable asking questions, or, you know, and so there can be a lot of miscommunication, and which causes a lot of customer dissatisfaction. So, you know, if you're someone in business and you haven't got the skill set to really pull out and explore all of that information that your client needs and wants from you, then, you know, you're lacking. There's holes in, you know, and could be one of the reasons things aren't necessarily going well. Like if we can build communication skills, huge difference.
Well, let me put it in a different way, right? And this is something that I am looking. Yes, I'm a photographer. I am a food and product photographer primarily. I do branding photography as well. I've done some photos for you just very quickly while I was up at the retreat, because it's about the story of the person behind the business too, right? That is what we could talk all day, but there's so much, like as a food and product photographer, right? A lot, and I talk about the ego in a way of energy, right? So the ego for food and product people, the business, the energy goes into their food and product. That's their thing they put out, right?
Yeah.
It's only when they get to a point where their business is known and their product is known is that the ego can come back into them, and then we can highlight the person behind the business. Until they get to that sort of stage, because what I've learned is if you're in startup phase, it doesn't matter what I say to them, I cannot get across to them the importance of having a branding session. They go, no, I just need to get my product up. I need to get it on the website. I need to get that sales. I need blah, 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 right? Okay, fine. So I don't even bother with that story because they just can't comprehend that. They've got too much going on in a startup sort of thing. But when I can see that they've matured to a certain point, and I can't categorically say what that point is, but I just know it's an essence, right? I go, right, now who's the person behind the business? Let's tell your story. Understand who you are, what makes you tick, because when you then build in, people want to buy from people that they trust.
Yes.
First of all, they buy a product because of a need or a pain point or whatever, but then they buy from people they trust. So that just then builds and builds, and that just has this beautiful flow and effect. So I find that really interesting. What we often do as consumers or even as business owners, we make assumptions.
Yes.
And I've done it so many times as well. I've gone, oh, so they must be doing this because of this. Stop. Go and ask.
Yes.
You know, tell me, why did you buy this cup? What was it about this cup that you liked? Oh, so was it the pretty rose? I think it's because of the pretty rose. No, it's because it holds 400 mils and not the skimpy
Standard.
that a little cup, you know, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so you actually want the bigger cup, but you like the daintiness. Oh, okay. So it helps to build out how you can help your customer more. So, but really, I would just say to anyone who makes an assumption or an absolute, if you say this pen's green, stop and go, is it? Is it green? Well, actually, no, it's silver and green.
Yeah.
Same as, you know, so never make an assumption about a customer. And as soon as you hear yourself making that absolute, go, is it true?
Yes.
Do
Yeah.
I know it to be true? If you know it to be true, then fine, use it as your catch cry, right? So like for some of my copy, I go, everyone loves food, right? No, actually, everyone needs food. And
everyone needs food.
Everyone needs food.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't agree, you disagree with that. So it's
no, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
There are some absolutes and you can go, yeah, that's true. And you can use that to the nth degree. It's where you can't actually categorically say, that's where you have to go question it and go, is that right? And have those conversations, and that helps to build those relationships. So
and go deeper. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where you get the nuggets. So I'm actually
Yes.
going to start doing, I'm going to be looking for a focus group actually for one of my products, which is Foodstock. Foodstock I launched in January, which is an online food photo library. And yeah, my baby's having a bit of trouble growing and I need to understand why. I know it's a great product, but I can't get it out there and I'm trying to understand why. So I'm going to build a focus group around that, you know, and that's going to be about asking designers and food bloggers and social media content creators and cafe owners about their need or their relationship with creating their own content and needing stock photos, so that I can help build a better understanding of the language I need to use to connect with that customer. Because at the moment it's just not connecting, or for some reason I don't know why. So I'm going to be really excited because I'm going to be able to use the skills that I have for my own business, not for someone else, right?
Absolutely. And it's so good because we can go into, I've got this great product and no one's seen it and you know what's going on, and then get stuck in the depths of it instead of finding a solution. And what an amazing solution to get out there and communicate with people that would be using it to find out what's missing or what the holes are, and, you know, like the language and all of those things, just to sort of, you know, get more inquisitive of what's going on for you. Yeah, that's awesome. Well done.
It is really hard, though, for a business to do that on themselves. Right?
Yeah.
It's so much easier for you, Elizabeth, if you wanted to create a new product or something, it'd be easier for you to go, Kat, I need to understand my customer more. Can you come in and talk to a few of my customers and build that out and build me a map of what that looks like and what their journey's like when they deal with me, because I'm an outside perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
When it's your business, you are so attached and you form these natural absolutes. You go, yeah, my product's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Why isn't anyone buying it? Yeah. It's so and again, it's a conditioned response to try and problem solve it instead of finding a solution. Like we're just natural.
I would challenge that though. Quite often we need to not go into solution mode. We just need to sit in the abyss of all the thoughts and processes and then go, there's the insight, right? The insight might be, the insight might be, yes, I did want the product. I wanted a 400 ml cup. But the reason why I want a 400 ml cup is because I'm so busy and I don't really want to have to get up and down and get water all the time. But I understand water is really important to my health. So my health is important. I need to make sure I'm staying, So you start to build out. So instead of just going, I'm just going to make a bigger cup. Well,
yes, yeah. Is actually finding out the understanding of why in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, and building that before you go into a solution mode, because I would argue as soon as you start going into solution mode, you say, hang on, is there anything else? You just go, okay.
Well, it's interesting because for me, solution mode is going into that assessment and looking and like first, opening up to explore and discover and be curious about all of those facets. So then you can come to an understanding of why, and you've got an end result that you're going for. Yeah.
Well, if you go back to the methodology of it, right, of the whole thing that I'm talking about, it's basically human-centered design, right?
And what was that?
Human-centered design. So
human-centered. Yep.
Yeah. There is basically there are stages, across that. You've got I should have it in my head. I just do it. But basically you go through the understanding, you unpack it, then you build out the insights. Then you go into prototyping or prototyping. So you test a whole lot of different concepts, which then you build and you go, okay, this one worked, this one didn't, this one did in some ways, blah, blah, blah. Then you pull it all together out of all those concepts and those tests and you go, right, here's the golden child. But then that golden child, you still have to go and test and make sure that is,
the right,
you do your minimal viable product, right? And you test that minimal viable product and then you go, right, now it's ready for delivery. And then delivery starts a whole new process again. How do you deliver that out there in the big wide world? Is it, this way, this way, this way? So it's, it sort of frustrates me when people come and they go, oh, I'm going to launch a product tomorrow. Okay, right. Have you done this and this? Have you asked your customers? Have you? And they go, no.
I didn't know I had to do that.
We have told so many customers, they've come to me and they've gone, I need photos. And you go, okay, so can you tell me this, this, and this? And they go, oh, no. I said, can you do me a favor? Come back. Go do that. Go see this person. Go see this person. I've told them, go and see your web designer. I recommend this person. Go and see a branding specialist. I recommend this person. Then come back to me, because I'm not going to take your money when I can't deliver a product that's going to be true to who you are.
Yeah.
I can take a photo of the pen, but until I understand why you want this pen to be sold, it's not going to work. So I think it's really important that as a business owner, you're also true to the values of being authentic and going, listen, you're not ready for photography. You're not ready yet. Go away.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Come back, because you've been honest with them, right? You've been honest and gone, I'm not going to help you just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Kat, tell us a little bit more about the food store and the aspects of what it is that you do. Okay. Like, because you've got a few different hats on, right?
Yeah. So in my studio, this is my beautiful studio. We built this in 2020 and we haven't stopped. I teach also small businesses how to take better photos with iPhones and the camera, if they have a camera as well. And they're in studio as well as online. So that was really good. That was one of our transitions or our transformations during COVID. we understood that people needed to learn how to take their own as well. I've had so many butchers in this place. I've had cheeses. I've had so many times. Oh my God, the cheese day. I had to open up my doors for days. Oh. But then I've had beautiful skincare ranges in here. And that's the thing that I love doing. I had this beautiful lady, her name, and I'm going to call her out, Earth and Scout. She has these shower steamers, right? And they're like mega bath bombs, but they're so potent you can't put them in the bath. You put them in the corner of your shower. That's just one of her things. But she had these beautiful products and rollers and oils and all this stuff. You'd probably like her, actually. Look her up, Earth and Scout. Anyway, my studio smells so good. And it's about that, right? It's about the senses. So in photography, I aim, and I've had a photographer say to me, another photographer go, you make me want to lick the screen. And that's the best compliment I've ever had. God love it.
Yeah, I have seen your photos and I know what they're talking about. Yeah.
You know, I want people to salivate, and I want them to go in and buy that product, or actually have, you know, if they're going into a restaurant and they go and think that they're going to only have an entree, but they end up having a main and a dessert because of the photos, right? That's the power of photography. But this girl here, again, similar to my soap lady, Earth and Scout, she brought in all her products and she goes, yes, I've been taking it with my phone. Anyway, so I've got my camera tethered up with my computer so she can see it on the big screen. And she's dancing. She goes, that's my product. That's my product. It looks so good. And I'm like, yes, it is your product. It's always been here. I'm just showing it in the best light. Because I totally understood what she was trying to communicate to her customers and why it was so important to her, this product. So that is what lights me up, when my customers actually go, damn, that's mine. That's my product. Like, oh, and they walk out of here, or they get their photos and they ring up, and I've had to pull my hand away from my ear. I go, oh my God, you know, they've got. I'm like, hey, cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, when they get that feeling of such pride and going, I'm ready, they're stepping up, right? I'm there. I'm actually showing up in a way that is powerful. So that's what I love to do for my customers. You know, if I can do that day in, day out, I'll pay them.
Yeah. And so how do people get in contact with you? You've got some sort of online course as well that people can look at if they're interested.
Next year, I'm going to digitize my photography workshop. So that's a project in the making. Food stock was this year. So again, foodstock.com.au is the online food stock library. And that's only me that does it. I release new collections at the moment each month. I'm going to reevaluate that at the moment. And the workshops, I haven't released next year's workshops yet, but anyone who wants a private workshop with me, by all means, get in contact with me. I do that. They're 2 hours, and you bring your product, or we go through your product individually, and you go away with at least some photos ready to use on social media. And that includes, then I invite you into a special group. You know, I don't just teach you and go bye-bye. You become part of a very elite group where I keep helping. If you need more questions, and I'm just there as your guide. So that's that as well. I've got lots of different projects in the making. Next year, I do want to go around Australia to the different food expos and do some photography workshops. So I'm going to try and work out how I can do that. I've got a few other things in the mix, but that's fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. You're just a creative soul. I know from spending a couple of days with you that you're so passionate and dedicated to your craft. And so it's such a pleasure seeing, another business owner or entrepreneur that's, just basically in that creative space and loving what they do and just getting paid for it, right? Like, when you love what you do, is just a pleasure to do it as work, right?
I feel bad calling it a job or a work, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, absolutely. Same here. So it's been a pleasure having you, Kat. I really enjoyed it. As you said, we could talk more and more. Like there's so many other parts of what I know you do that we haven't even covered. So
it's okay. Have another chat another time.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care. Enjoy, everyone. If you're watching the replay, please put #replay in here so we know that you've been watching. And we will catch you all soon. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, guys.